the royal hall of Asterion. 5 was carved from crystal harvested in the vacuum of dying stars. Light refracted through the pillars like frozen lightning, illuminating 1,000 alien nobles dressed in lacquered robes and chitin armor. Conversations drifted like strange melodies, tense and suspicious. They weren't here for a celebration. They were here for a trial. My trial. I stood shackled at the center, wrists bound in glowing restraints that pulsed with my heartbeat. The collar around my neck hummed, suppressing my nervous system. I wasn't a warrior or a diplomat, just a maintenance engineer caught in the wrong place at the wrong cosmic time. The charges? Trespassing into the royal sector, interfering in Asterian military operations, possible espionage. All false. But none of that mattered. Humans were not common here. To most of the Asterian people, we were myths, fragile groundwalkers who hadn't earned a place among the stars. Some even believed we were extinct. So finding one human alive on a derelict ship had sent panic through the hierarchy. And today, the final ruling would be spoken by the most feared person in the Empire. Princess Ylara Zixon, the War Princess, the Silver Heir, the woman whose name alone made planetary armies kneel. She entered with 6 guards, each armored like walking fortresses. Her presence bent the hall's energy. Her silver skin glowed faintly under the lights, and crystalline tattoos shimmered along her neck, symbols of battles she had survived. She approached the dais, but for a moment, her gaze swept across the hall until it landed directly on me. Her eyes, sharp, cold, and violet, met mine. I didn't flinch. I couldn't. I was too scared to even blink. But she froze. Her steps halted. Her pupils expanded. Her breath caught, as if she'd seen a ghost. A hush rippled through the hall. The unshakable war princess, stunned by a shackled human? Impossible. And yet she stared at me like reality itself had cracked. Middle. The secret she never expected to see. The High General stepped forward, confused by her reaction. "Your Highness," he whispered. "The human. I see him." She cut in sharply, but her voice trembled. Trembled. The princess of a warrior race, afraid? Her guards tensed. Some placed their hands on their weapons, not at me, but in response to her unease. Ylara slowly descended the steps of the dais, her boots clicking softly on the crystalline floor. The hall throbbed with tension. When she reached me, she didn't speak. She simply leaned closer and stared deeper into my eyes. Her own began to shake. "It's impossible," she whispered, too quietly for the others to hear. "Your eyes, they carry the resonance." I swallowed. "The what?" She stepped back as if burned. "Remove his restraints." The hall erupted. "Your Highness, he's human. He's dangerous. He's untested. Humans aren't allowed in the inner rings." "Remove his restraints." The order carried the weight of planets. The generals obeyed. As the cuffs released and clattered to the floor, blood rushed back into my limbs. I rubbed my wrists, confused and wary. Yalara's gaze hadn't left me. "You have his eyes," she murmured. "The resonance of the one who saved my life." My heartbeat stumbled. "Saved your life? I've never seen you before." "Not me," she whispered. "My mother." The hall quieted instantly as gasps spread. Her mother, the late Queen Lyriel. A legend. A ruler whose death ignited wars and shaped the galaxy. "She was saved by a human 30 cycles ago," Ylara said. "But humans are rare, nearly extinct, and none have entered Asterian territory since." Her eyes softened, no longer cold, but searching. "That man," she continued, "had eyes with a solar fracture pattern, a pattern only one in billions carry. A genetic anomaly, a mark of courage, my mother believed. I exhaled. Solar fracture? She nodded, unaware I had heard this before once, in a genetic report I never thought mattered. A birth anomaly. A crystalline pattern in the iris. Nothing more. Or so I believed. But why are you reacting like this? I asked quietly. Her throat tightened. Because the human who saved her was killed shortly after. His body was never recovered, and many believed his lineage ended. The hall darkened as the lights dimmed for the royal verdict. Yalara stepped closer until she was inches from me. You are his descendant, she whispered. Or him. A shiver rippled down my spine. Me? I wasn't even alive. Humans are strange, she cut in. You break rules the universe obeys. You survive the impossible. You endure death itself. I laughed weakly. Princess, I'm just a technician. She shook her head, then said something that made the hall fall dead silent. Your eyes are identical to his. Down to every fracture, every ray, every spark. The hall looked between us, whispering. The general finally spoke. Your Highness, there must be another explanation. Humans cannot return from death. They can, she whispered, if they carried the light of continuance. More whispers. Shock. Fear. Reverence. I didn't understand any of it. What is that? I stammered. Yalara breathed deeply. A phenomenon only recorded once. A being who carries time within his bones. A soul that cycles instead of ending. You're saying what? That I reincarnated? She looked at me with a mixture of awe and terror. You are the human who saved my mother. The truth begins to unfold. I almost laughed at the absurdity, but something in her eyes, her trembling, made me pause. She believed it. No, she knew it. And the hall, seeing the fear in their princess, silently agreed. I don't remember any of this, I whispered. You wouldn't, she replied softly. Cycle bearers rarely do. She raised a hand, hesitating. Then she gently touched the side of my face. Instantly, a flash surged through my mind. A battlefield. A destroyed Asterian cruiser. A dying queen trapped beneath rubble. A human, myself, digging her out with bleeding hands. Her eyes full of gratitude. My promise that she would live. A blinding explosion. I gasped and staggered back. The memory was real. I had lived it. The hall reacted in shock as I steadied myself, trembling. It's true, Yalara whispered, tears forming. You remember. I don't understand. I muttered. You don't have to, she said. You only need to know this. You saved our queen. Our people owe you a debt no time can erase. The general spoke carefully. Your Highness, what is your ruling? Yalara turned to the hall, her voice regaining its legendary command. This human is not a trespasser. He is Asterian's greatest ally, and he is under my personal protection. The hall bowed instantly. I stood there, awkward, confused, overwhelmed, while an entire empire lowered itself for me. Yalara stepped closer, her voice quiet, so only I could hear. When I first saw you, she whispered, I trembled because I thought a ghost had stepped into my hall. She swallowed. But now I tremble because I realize you came back. Ending what the princess revealed. Later that night, Yalara escorted me through the royal gardens. Stars shimmered through transparent ceilings. You must think I'm something I'm not, I said. You are precisely who you're meant to be, she replied. We walked in silence before she added, My mother never forgot you. She wrote that if the human with the fractured eyes ever returned, the fate of Asterian would turn again. Turn how? I asked quietly. Yalara looked at me, really looked, and her eyes softened in a way no one in the hall had ever seen.
"Toward peace," she said.
Or toward love. Or toward war. She never clarified. She stepped closer. "But I know this much. I'm glad you came back." Her voice trembled again, just like in the hall. Only this time, it wasn't fear. It was something else. Something warmer. Something dangerous. And as the stars cast silver light across her face, the trembling princess whispered,
"Stay.
Please." I didn't know what destiny had planned. I didn't know why I had been reborn. But in that moment, standing before the princess whose whole universe shook at the sight of me, I knew one thing for certain.